Right, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be speaking on here today. And over the next 15 minutes, I'm just going to cover some areas of leadership. I'm going to cover three different areas of leadership, three aspects. These are three areas that I use throughout my career. And for me, leadership's a learned skill. It's something that you can develop along the way. You just need a framework to do that. I'm going to take you through that framework today. So I'm just going to share my screen. Right, I've got it now. I'll do this. So what are this in championship leadership? I'm going to talk about three different areas. So the three areas I want to talk about are walking the walk, dealing in hard truths, and knowing your team. They're three areas that I think anybody can use in terms of leadership. And every time I talk about it, I'm going to tell a story through it. I think that's the best way to hammer the points home. So walking the walk for me in leadership is about, I think in leadership, you've got to pay the price at times. You've got to have the ability to set some things out that are going to be difficult for you to do, but you complete those tasks. And the reason why you would complete those tasks is because in leadership, all the time, you have to ask people to do things they don't exactly want to do, things that are going to be difficult to do. And the best way to get their buy-in is to show that you're prepared at times to walk the walk. You're prepared to pay the price for the team to accomplish the task so you can be successful, so you can be champions. Now, the best way of talking about this is about playing against this guy here. In 2006, I got named captain of Great Britain to tour down under to play the Australians twice and New Zealand twice. Now, captain in Australia can be quite difficult because for 11 months of the year, everybody who plays for Great Britain is playing in different teams and you're trying to win one trophy, which means basically you all hate each other. But you've got to come together as a group, and I thought the best way for me to try and lead this group is early on, I'm going to set something out that's going to be really difficult for me to do. It's going to be tough for me to do, but I'm going to get through, get it done, because then on the rest of the tour, whenever I ask anybody to do something, they'll follow up and do it. We're about to go play at Australia, Sydney Football Stadium, 40,000 people there. Just before we go out to take the field, pull the team in, and I speak to the players, and I say, if we're going to beat Australia today, we want to beat Australia in Sydney. The way we'll do that is if you beat your opposite number. Now, my opposite number that day was the guy you're seeing on the screen, Petros Sivanasiva. He was 18 stone, played prop, was number 10. I weighed about 16 stone, played prop, was number 10. He'd been voted hardest tackling player in Australia from 2004, 2005, 2006. But I say to the team, every time I get the ball, I'm going to run at this guy. I'm going to beat my opposite number. You beat your opposite number. We win this game. So we go out in the tunnel, sing the national anthem. The ball gets kicked off to me. First carry of the game. I run at Petros Sivanasiva as hard as I possibly can. And he absolutely buckles me. I go down seeing a few stars. Now, as I'm going down on the floors, Petros tackle me. I have to get up and play the ball. And when I'm getting up to play the ball, I've got two voices, one on either shoulder. The first voice is going, well, wow, that really hurt. And you've got to run at him another 20 times here today to fulfill your promise to the team. So why don't then, instead of doing it 20 times, let's do it 5 times. Look after yourself a little bit. And then over 15, we'll do what we want. And then the leadership voice said, you made a promise to the team. You said you're going to walk the walk. You said every time you get the ball, you're going to carry it him. You're going to get hurt today, but you've got to do it. So I steel myself, right? Every time I got the ball, another 10 times, run at Petro as hard as I can. We go in at halftime, we're winning 12 points to 6, 5 minutes into the second half. We're attacking the Australian try line. I get the ball. Petro's in front of me. I think, right, here we go, teeth checking time again. This time, though, I run at him. I break his tackle. Go through, score a try, put us out in front. At the end of the 80 minutes, we beat Australia 23 points to 12. It's the last time Great Britain or England are beating Australia over 14 years ago now. Now, at the end of the game, obviously, I was elated as the rest of the team. We were champions, beat the Australians in Australia. But for me, because I'd walked the walk, because I committed to the promise I said to the team, even though it got difficult for me, the rest of the tour, whenever I asked anybody to do anything difficult, they just go, yes, Skip, I've got it, I'll do it. Because they knew I was prepared to pay the price for the team. And I think that's a really simple way of leading, that you have to walk the walk. You have to be prepared to pay the price as a leader. Second thing you have to do in leadership is to talk in hard truths. You have to have courage. Leadership's about courage to hold people accountable to the standards you expect within your organization or your team. I have 2 sayings about this. then I will tell a story again. The culture and strength of a team is only as strong as the weakest behaviour a leader is willing to tolerate. The standard that you walk past is the standard that you accept. At the Leeds Rhinos 2007, we win the grand final at Old Trafford. That's our goal accomplished for the year. 2008, January, we set our goal again to win the grand final. We'd never gone back-to-back title winners in the history of the club, 100-year history of the club. Midway through 2008, trying to accomplish our goal to become champions again, we are struggling. We're way off the pace, in fact, and we are losing games. Now, one of the reasons why we are losing games is we are back-chatting to the referees. Now, back-chatting to the referees in rugby league will generally kill you. You know, you give a penalty away, concede a try, lose a game. Now, we've just lost another game on the Friday night because of back-chatting to the referee. Now, the reason why we were back-chatting to the referees was in training, we'd simulate a game. We'd all play against each other, 13 against 13, and we'd have a coach in the middle refereeing. Now, when that coach was refereeing, he made a bad decision. We were giving him a lot of stick and verbal. But what we were doing, we were creating an habit, which we're taking into the games. And this habit cost us again on the Friday night. Monday morning, we're back in for a video review of the performance on the Friday night. 40 people in the video review. Head coach pulls out this behaviour that's costing us, back-chatting to the referee. And he said, this has got to stop. Now, the reason why we're doing it is because it's coming from training. We've created an habit at training that's allowing us to lose games. So from here on in, one of our standards is nobody speaks back to the coach who's refereeing. Even if he makes a bad decision, we keep our mouth shut because we want to turn around our discipline. Does everyone agree to do it? Everyone agreed to do it. So anyway, we go out, start training. We train for about an hour. Then we get down to the last 30 minutes, the difficult part of training. We're going to simulate a game against each other. We'll go out, start simulating a game. 5 minutes into this game, one of our better players, one of our best players, top 5 players, starts to question publicly the decisions being made by the coach, the referee. So I wait 5 seconds, you know, thinking the coach is going to pull this up or the assistant coach. Nothing happens. 10 seconds go past. So I stop the game. I stop the full game. I say to the player, so what do you think you're doing? So we've just spoke at length up there what our behaviours are going forward. And now what you've done is unacceptable. It's unacceptable for you, first of all, but it's unacceptable to the standards of the group from here on in. Now, you see the player was taken aback a bit, but he said, you know what, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have done it. I understood, you know, old habits die hard. I won't do it again. We resumed the game. And for the rest of that game, nobody back-chatted to the coach who was refereeing. In fact, for the rest of the season, no one back-chatted to the coach who was refereeing. October 2008, Old Trafford, we win the grand final again. We go back-to-back title winners. We accomplish our goal. We become champions. Now, after that had happened, you know, a couple of weeks after that, I thought a lot about the incident on the training field. And what I thought about it was the easiest thing for me to have done would have been to say nothing, to not stop the game and to say nothing. But let's say I did that, didn't have the courage to stop the game and let it go on. That habit continued. We didn't get to the grand final. I would have had no right, if that had happened, to blame the player in the middle, because by saying nothing about it, I'm saying that standard's acceptable. I think in leadership, you have to have the courage to deliver feedback and hard truths when the time is right and when the time occurs. Now, the final part of leadership I'm going to talk about, this will help you in the style that you deliver the feedback. I think this is absolutely crucial and fundamental to leadership, especially going into the era we're in now, is to know your team. Why would you want to know your team? Because of this. The one thing we all have in common is we're all different. That's an absolute truth. I can tell this again through a story. When I was at the Bradford Bulls, I played with Leslie Vinocola there in the white carrying the ball. Leslie was a 6'3", 18-stone Tongan with a massive personality. And if you wanted to judge him superficially, had a shallow relationship with him, you'd think because of his size, because of his personality, you'd be able to give him direct feedback. You'd be able to criticise him to get the best out of him. But if you did that to Les would play awful. Les would sulk with you. You wouldn't get the best performance out of him. The way to get the best out of Les was to put your arm around him. Say, Les, look, do you know what? Your best player here, can you get us 3 tries today? And he'd go, I'll tell you what, I'll get you 4. Les always needed an arm around him, positive feedback. The second person I'm going to talk about is Rob Burroughs. Now, most of you might know Rob, and you'll know I've not photoshopped that. Rob is that small. Rob's in a courageous battle with M&D at the moment. But Rob, if you were to judge him superficially, if you were to look at him, a small man playing in a big man's sport, you would think he was the type of player that would need an arm around him. But Rob was the complete opposite. what you had to do with Rob was criticise him, and it spark a fire in his belly, and he'd want to prove you wrong, and you'd get the best performance out of him. That was the way to deliver and know the team, to give them the best feedback. How would you do that? What's the system? So this is the system. It's 3 questions and listen. I would try to get around all my teammates during the week and ask them at least 3 questions about them, about the person, so I could build up a picture of what they were like as an individual. So in the high pressure moments within a game, I could give them feedback in the best possible way. And the most important part of this statement, 3 questions and listen, is the last word, is to listen. Because I think most people in life, they hear, but they don't listen. And I'll give you an example of doing this. And we've all probably done it ourselves as well. Let's say I'm in the office pre-COVID day, and the person that sat next to me says, Jamie, what are you doing at the weekend? So I tell you what, I'm going to see Bruce Springsteen. Can't wait. Seeing him Saturday. Always wanted to see the boss. I think it's going to be an amazing Saturday. Really, really excited. Really, really looking forward to it. So when he says, oh, that's nice. Is that? So we part our ways. I go see the boss on Saturday night. He's amazing. Plays a 3-hour set. Come back into work, 9 o'clock Monday morning. Same person sits next to me and says, Jamie, what did you do at the weekend? What that does, right, it just pisses people off. I think if you've got to be a good leader, you've got to care about people, you've got to listen to them, and you've got to get to know them. Because when you do that, this is what happens. When they know you care, they will care. You sit and think now about the best leaders you've ever worked with, and I reckon they care for you on a deeper level than a transactional one at the business. And when that happens to you, you're prepared to give more to the team when a leader shows that in you. And knowing your team is a really easy way to develop and foster that kind of relationship. They're the 3 areas of leadership which I think anybody can do. I'm just going to finish with one final word, which I think is quite important, is commitment. Because I don't want to talk for 15 minutes and nothing happen off the back of it. I don't want to pass on the information I might have learned over 20 years in sport. I really like some things to change within yourself. And the only way you'll do that is with commitment. So commitment is an act, not a word. If you're sat there and you've been listening and you're thinking about, I'm going to know my team a bit more, I'm going to get that one-on-one in there. I'm going to deliver that feedback in the right way. Well, go out and do it. Actually do it. Don't just think about it. Commitment means pushing yourself when nobody else is around. Right now, only you knows what you're thinking about changing and how you're developing as a leader. That means you're going to have to go push yourself to go out there and execute on it. And then commitment means staying loyal to what you said you would do long after the mood you said it in has passed. So I'll finish with this, because I think if I come round in 24 hours and knock on your door and you've been listening to this and you're wanting to make some changes and you commit to it, and I said, you know what, you said you're going to be know your team a little bit more, have them one-on-ones, hard truths, you're going to walk the walk, are you doing it? And after 24 hours you said, yeah, I am. I said, good, that's the level of commitment, you've acted upon it, it's not a word anymore. If I came round in 7 days from now, a week on Tuesday, knocked on your door again and said, you know that stuff you started doing with leadership, you said you were going to be a better leader, you're still doing it now. I said, yeah, I am, it's great, it's working well for me. That's a good level of commitment. But what I ask is 30 days time. In 30 days time, if I come round, knock on your door, we get into December, and I said, you remember that stuff you started in November? You wanted to become a better leader, and are you doing it now? Are you actually still doing it 30 days later? And you said to me, yeah, I am. I love it. It's made a real difference to my team. You know what you've done? You've changed yourself forever, because in 30 days, you can create a habit. You can change the way you behave, rewire your brain in 30 days. All it does, though, and all it takes is just some commitment, just for you to act upon what you're thinking right now. And I always think to myself, why wouldn't you want to do it? Why would you not want to be the best version of you in terms of a leader, just for you, but also for your team as well? So that's been my talk. I really hope you've enjoyed that. And that's it. So been a pleasure speaking on here. Again, I hope you've really enjoyed it. I hope you deal with lockdown and thrive in it, not just survive in it. And so luck with the rest of today. Thank you.